I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We are continuing in the Doctrine and Covenants. This is now February of 1834, late February of 1834. We've had the organization of the First High Council and the establishment of a printing press in Kirtland. Then Parley P. Pratt and Lyman White return from Missouri to tell the prophet and the saints in Kirtland what's going on in Zion. Now in Zion, the saints were driven out of Jackson County and Van Buren County and are gathering as refugees in Clay County over the winter. As spring is coming on, they are wondering what they are going to do and how, if and how they are going to redeem the land of Zion. They have petitioned the governor, they have petitioned the courts, to no avail. So we received section 103, which we read last, which was God commanding the people to gather the strength of his house, minimum of 100 men, 500 is preferable, to march to Zion to reclaim the land in power and glory. But only if they hearken to the commandments, and that is where we left it. So now we pick it up in section 104. Now the heading to this section states, Revelation given to Joseph Smith the prophet, April 23rd, 1834, concerning the United Order, or the Order of the Church for the benefit of the poor, recorded in History of the Church, Volume 2, pages 54 to 60. The occasion was that of a council meeting of the First Presidency and other high priests, in which the pressing temporal needs of the people had been given consideration. The United Order at Kirtland was to be temporarily dissolved and reorganized, and the properties as stewardships were to be divided among members of the order. Now, before we actually get to this point, this is April 23rd, section 103 was February 24th, 2 months prior. For most of March, Joseph Smith and other brethren are following the commandment of God given in section 103 to go among all the congregations of the church in the East to gather volunteers and money for the redemption of Zion. Most of March is taken up in that. April, they start returning back to Kirtland. A couple other things are going on, but not a lot of note. The two things I do want to note is that the Dr. Philastus Hurlburt, he had been baptized in May of 1833, excommunicated by June, disfellowshipped by June, re-accepted into the church in July, excommunicated again in September. And now he is breathing out threatenings against Joseph Smith. We have an actual court where we bring Philastus Hurlburt to court on charges of threatening the life of other men. And he is eventually remanded to prison for 6 months, which gives Joseph Smith time to get things together. The other small thing I do like to, while traveling, doing the business of the Lord, a kind of beggar is met on the road and asks for a ride from Joseph Smith and Parley P. Pratt, and I think there were a couple other men with him, but he says the Spirit warned them against it. They declined and left him there, and as they were pulling away, 2 other men joined him, and it led to a high-speed chase. They were in their wagon, the men in their horses, but by the providence of God, they were able to escape. So I like that story. But now we get to this point. Now this is April 23rd, we get this revelation. It was actually April 21st, I believe. It was a few days earlier that the Council of the High Priests decided that they needed to suspend the United Order because of all the difficulties going on, and there was not everybody was actually following the covenant of the United Order, and so they figured it was better to suspend it for now. A few days after that, we get this revelation. Now, this section is a bit long, so we're going to split it in 2 videos. In this first one, I will read the first 46 verses, and then we'll finish it out in the next reading. So let us read section 104, verses 1 through 46. Verily I say unto you, my friends, I give unto you counsel and commandment concerning all the properties which belong to the order which I commanded to be organized and established, to be a united order and an everlasting order for the benefit of my church and for the salvation of men until I come, with promise immutable and unchangeable, that inasmuch as those whom I commanded were faithful, they should be blessed with a multiplicity of blessings. But inasmuch as they were not faithful, they were nigh unto cursing. Therefore, inasmuch as some of my servants have not kept the commandment, but have broken the covenant through covetousness, and with feigned words. I have cursed them with a very sore and grievous curse. For I, the Lord, have decreed in my heart, that inasmuch as any man belonging to the order shall be found a transgressor, or in other words, shall break the covenant with which ye are bound, he shall be cursed in his life, and shall be trodden down by whom I will. For I, the Lord, am not to be mocked in these things. And all this, that the innocent among you may not be condemned with the unjust, and that the guilty among you may not escape. Because I, the Lord, have promised unto you a crown of glory at my right hand. Therefore, inasmuch as you are found transgressors, you cannot escape my wrath in your lives. Inasmuch as ye are cut off for transgression, ye cannot escape the buffetings of Satan until the day of redemption. And I now give unto you power from this very hour, that if any man among you of the order is found a transgressor, and repenteth not of the evil, that ye may deliver him over unto the buffetings of Satan, and he shall not have power to bring evil upon you. It is wisdom in me. Therefore a commandment I give unto you, that ye shall organize yourselves, and appoint every man his stewardship, that every man may give an account unto me of the stewardship which is appointed unto him. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings which I have made and prepared for my creatures. I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine. And it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine. But it must needs be done in mine own way. And behold, this is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, that the poor shall be exalted, in that the rich are made low. For the earth is full, and there is enough and to spare. Yea, I prepared all things, and have given unto the children of men to be agents unto themselves. Therefore, if any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion, according to the law of my gospel, unto the poor and needy, he shall, with the wicked, lift up his eyes in hell, being in torment. This first part is a chastisement of the members of the order. They're not living properly. They're not following the laws of the order. Remember, the order, to sum it up, basically is you give everything to the bishop, and then the bishop, with your counsel, with your approval, you work together to determine what your inheritance need, what you need as an inheritance, which you are then given. And once everybody has gotten an inheritance, what is left into the storehouse. That is the residue to be claimed by members of the order who lack. If a farmer, he has his inheritance, but one year his farm doesn't produce like it normally does, and that year he needs a little extra, he can call on the bishop and the storehouse to make up the difference. That's what's supposed to be happening. But that's not what's happening. There's a lot of land speculation. A lot of people are buying land, and rather than giving it to the bishop to be portioned out for the benefit of the saints, they are selling it for personal profit. And this is what's going on throughout the whole country. Land speculation is rampant throughout the United States at this time. And this will eventually lead to the financial collapse of 1835 in just over a year from now. But that's what's been going on, and that's why the order is being broken apart, and God is chastising it for this. You're not living the way you're supposed to. And those who are not doing it, the righteous, who have been striving to live the law of consecration and the united order, they will be blessed. But those who have not, they are cursed. And this whole thing is being dissolved because there's too much of this transgression in the midst of it. You have to dissolve it in order to separate the righteous from the wicked. But anyways, let us continue. Verse 19. And now verily I say unto you, concerning the properties of the order, let my servant Sidney Rigdon have appointed unto him the place where he now resides, and the lot of the tannery for his stewardship, for his support while he is laboring in my vineyard, even as I will when I shall command him. And let all things be done according to the counsel of the order, and united consent or voice of the order, which dwell in the land of Kirtland. And this stewardship and blessing I, the Lord, confer upon my servant Sidney Rigdon, for a blessing upon him and his seed after him. And I will multiply blessings upon him, inasmuch as he will be humble before me. And again, let my servant Martin Harris have appointed unto him for his stewardship the lot of land which my servant John Johnson obtained in exchange for his former inheritance, for him and his seed after him. And inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply blessings upon him and his seed after him. And let my servant Martin Harris devote his monies for the proclaiming of my words, according as my servant Joseph Smith Jr. shall direct. And again, let my servant Frederick G. Williams have the place upon which he now dwells, And let my servant Oliver Cowdery have the lot which is set off joining the house, which is to be for the printing office, which is lot number 1, and also the lot upon which his father resides. And let my servants Frederick G. Williams and Oliver Cowdery have the printing office and all things that pertain unto it. And this shall be their stewardship, which shall be appointed unto them. And inasmuch as they are faithful, behold, I will bless and multiply blessings upon them. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed them, for them and their seed after them. And inasmuch as they are faithful, I will multiply blessings upon them and their seed after them, even a multiplicity of blessings. And again, let my servant John Johnson have the house in which he lives, and the inheritance, all save the ground which has been reserved for the building of my houses, which pertains to that inheritance, and those lots which have been named for my servant Oliver Cowdery. And inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply blessings upon him. And it is my will that he should sell the lots that are laid off for the building up of the city of my saints, inasmuch as it shall be made known to him by the voice of the Spirit, and according to the counsel of the order, and by the voice of the order. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed unto him, for a blessing unto him and his seed after him. And inasmuch as he is faithful, I will multiply a multiplicity of blessings upon him. And again, let my servant Newell K. Whitney have appointed unto him the houses and lot where he now resides, and the lot and building on which the mercantile establishment stands, and also the lot which is on the corner south of the mercantile establishment, and also the lot on which the ashery is situated. And all this I have appointed unto my servant Newell K. Whitney for his stewardship, for a blessing upon him and his seed after him, for the benefit of the mercantile establishment of my order which I have established for my stake in the land of Kirtland. Yea, verily, this is the stewardship which I have appointed unto my servant Newell K. Whitney, even this whole mercantile establishment, him and his agent and his seed after him. And inasmuch as he is faithful in keeping my commandments which I have given unto him, I will multiply blessings upon him and his seed after him, even a multiplicity of blessings. And again, let my servant Joseph Smith Jr. have appointed unto him the lot which is laid off for the building of my house, which is 40 rods long and 12 wide, and also the inheritance upon which his father now resides. And this is the beginning of the stewardship which I have appointed unto him, for a blessing upon him and upon his father. For behold, I have reserved an inheritance for his father, for his support. Therefore he shall be reckoned in the house of my servant Joseph Smith Jr. And I will multiply blessings upon the house of my servant Joseph Smith Jr., inasmuch as he is faithful, even a multiplicity of blessings. This just tells us who gets what land. And there's different, Sidney Rigdon gets the tannery, Newell K. Whitney gets the mercantile business, which he already has and operates anyways. Most of them are just receiving the land that they already have. The one difference there, John Johnson, he apparently was caught up in this land speculation because he has bought a significant amount of land, and a portion of it is given to Martin Harris. Another portion, I believe, is given to Frederick G. Williams, but he is then told to sell the rest of it. He's not supposed to keep it. Now, he is given the land as his stewardship, but with the understanding that he will sell it for the benefit of the saints, or sell portions of it. I find that interesting. Joseph Smith is given the land of the temple, plus the land that his father, Joseph Smith Sr., currently lives on. So the temple is actually being given to Joseph Smith as his stewardship. He is to oversee the temple. As the president of the Melchizedek priesthood, that makes perfect sense. But we leave it here, and we finish section 46 in our next reading. So I will see you there.